In times of crisis, people often look for comfort, the things that can provide them with the feeling of safety and security that they desire. A book from childhood, a film they can quote all the lines to, or, in my case, a song that reminds me of a time that is not now. The song that I've been returning to, and have been fascinated by, is Second and Sebring by Of Mice and Men. That's "and" with an ampersand, by the way. Released just over 10 years ago on the 9th of March 2010, the song is the second single the band released after 7,000 Miles for What in 2009, and the first that would get a music video. Link in the description. I'm not going to claim to be some massive Of Mice and Men fan, far from it, but if you're around on Tumblr during 2010, you absolutely knew about Of Mice and Men. They were all over the alternative music blogs on Tumblr at the time, the poster boys of a sound and of an era. Some beautiful and captivating photos from their live shows, combined with the great design and branding that comes with basing your band around an ampersand, helped to fuel their rise. That and good music, of course. So, onto the song in question. Second and Sebring feels like an absolutely perfect encapsulation of what metalcore had the potential to be. The song didn't chart. Very few Of Mice and Men songs did chart over the years, but you can feel underneath the screamed vocals and chugging metal guitars the potential for a radio hit. Strip away that metalcore production, leave just the clean vocals and whack an acoustic guitar or piano underneath it, and I believe you'd have a pop hit, no doubt. It'd completely lose what I think makes Second and Sebring such a fantastic song, the performance, but the quality of the songwriting is so high that I think it would still have a chance. You look at the charts for 2010, and I think a good comparison would be Aeroplanes by B.O.B., which is featuring Hayley Williams, or maybe You Belong With Me by Taylor Swift. The Only Exception by Paramore was also one of the 100 best performing songs in the US that year, and I think Second and Sebring would have the potential to have the same level of success, potentially, as those songs had, with the right circumstances, of course. It has that emotional pull, those personal lyrics, and a connection that anyone who listens can pick up on. Adele's smash hit album 21 would be released the following year on the 24th of January 2011, so the landscape was almost ready for this kind of song to take centre stage. What I'm saying isn't completely out of the question, but enough fantasy booking about the potential situations. Let's look at the song as it actually is. It's not structured in a traditional way. There's only one chorus, if you can even really call it that, and it comes right at the end of the song. The whole track is building towards this chorus, this release that comes at the end of the song, and it's so satisfying when it finally does. We start with clean vocals, if you can call them that. They're of course a lot cleaner vocals than lead vocalist and screamer Austin Carlisle's, but it's not to say they're completely clean either. It's this sort of hybrid of clean and scream vocals that I particularly enjoy in vocalists. They can sing, but the ability to transition between the two states is what I find really impressive. The emotion that you can feel as Shaylee Bourget, guitarist and clean vocalist for Of Mice and Men, distorts his voice on single words like I and time, sets the tone for the rest of the song. A sense of pain, of singing about something that's close to the heart and meaningful. Even in this intro section with the clean vocals, there's this sense of building tension before the distorted vocals of Carlisle come in, for what is listed as the bridge, before the fully Carlisle verse kicks off. It's this back and forth between the two that is central to this song and helps to really ratchet up the tension. These small releases of tension come as we transition between sung and screamed vocals. Two vocalist bands seem to be really in vogue at the time. Some of my favourites of the era were The Blackout, Death Havana, and We Are the Ocean. So whenever I hear a two-vocalist band, it brings me back to the late 2000s / early 2010s period. Was it a pivot by these bands towards the mainstream with a clean vocalist? Or is it more of a pivot to the heavy end with the screamer? What sort of camp did they set in? Death Havana and We Are the Ocean would depart with their screamers fairly soon after this period of time. Ryan Meller of Death Havana in 2011 and Dan Brown of We Are the Ocean in 2012. It's possible that it was just a short-term fad, but as has been documented on this podcast previously, I am a fan of rock and metal fusion music. So to me, the ability for bands to transition between clean and scream vocals seamlessly was really important. Whether they did that with one vocalist or two vocalists wasn't massively important to me necessarily. I'm sure that doing this with two vocalists helped to preserve the singing ability of the clean vocalist, and as an added bonus, gave those who lacked singing ability the hope that we could still be frontmen in bands. As a young teenager, I would pretend to be the screamer of the band, my favourite being Sean Smith of The Blackout, and my friend, who could actually sing, would play the part of the clean vocalist, Gavin Butler. I wasn't going to be the front man any other way, so a thank you to the two vocalist era for giving me that sense of hope. All through Second and Sebring, the instruments underneath and the vocals tend to match in tone and in style. When it's just Carlisle, they are jaggedy and sort of staccato. When it's just Shaylee singing, they are shinier and more melodic. Shades of Jekyll and Hyde. As we approach the back end of the song, the heaviest chugging section yet is present as Carlisle screams the lyrics. I hope you smile. When you look down on me, I hope you smile. This can't, we won't know. I hope that I make you proud. The drums are building, the tension is rising as we transition from the more painful section of the song, both sonically and lyrically. Carlisle is singing to his deceased mother about how he wants to make her proud. As we approach the melody of the closing chorus, the guttural scream on the word proud, that last word before the chorus, is the most potent yet. But it's a signal for us to move them from the pain and into the light. It's this transition that provides the catharsis of the song, the tension that has been built up over these 3 minutes, over this song, is finally released. You can feel all those emotions that have been inside, bubbling just under the surface during the song. The pain of the screams are mostly over. It got darker before the situation got better, but it got better. Carlisle still chimes in with screams in this final section. Still the transition backwards and forwards between the clean and the distorted. Pain is still possible. We cannot live completely without pain. We are only human and are powerless to stop it. But we can work through and come out the other side of some bad things. We are stronger than we think we are. As the lyrics in the song tell us, this is not what it is. Only baby scars. And in this time of coronavirus, I think it's an important thing to keep in mind. Every time I hear this song and we transition to that final chorus, it gives me chills up my spine. It's such a beautiful shift. I think it's important and useful for me to listen to this song in this day and age. And I would encourage you all to do the same. This too shall pass. This was a review show. I think your experience will be enhanced by hearing in full the song featured in the show, which you can get a hold of from your favourite music shop or online platform. Please support artists by buying their music or using services that guarantee artists a revenue. This episode was written and produced by me, Stephen Lemontree. Our outro music is Simplicity by Macroform Music. If you ever want to contact us, you can do so on Instagram and Twitter at nevetslt or email nevetslt@gmail.com. That's NEVETSLT. Life is looking at a full moon and saying, "That's a good moon." We'll see you next week.